Good morning, friends. It is officially day one of Rereadathon. So, for Rereadathon, as you guys know, if you've watched my TBR, I plan on rereading an entire manga series this week. So, this basically consists of 24 volumes of manga in 12 omnibuses. And that series is Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya. I always try to struggle with that name, but Japanese names are hard. So, my plan is to reread this entire series this week. So, there's 12 omnibuses and 7 days. So, right now, my goal, I clearly need to throw away some trash, but my goal is to read 2 omnibuses a day. So, my goal for today is to read omnibus 1 and 2. It's a little after 8 o'clock in the morning. Today is my official host day. I'm sorry if you missed the giveaway because I'm just doing a week-long vlog. And I'm sorry if the giveaway was too complicated. I know I required a few things to enter. I did give a bonus option and some things like that. So I'm sorry if you found it overly complicated. I just feel like I didn't... How do I put this? I didn't want it to be too easy to where people didn't engage in the day. So like, I asked people to use a certain hashtag with their posts so I can find it and some things like that. So I'm sorry if you found it overly complicated. I hope you didn't, but I am really excited to be an Instagram host again this year. I had so much fun last year doing it. So today's post was a game-changing book. Honestly, Fruits Basket was kind of a game-changing manga for me. That's when I really started to collect manga. But I had just done a post about it on Instagram. So I opted for a classic that made me fall in love with classics. And that's Persuasion by Jane Austen. Absolutely loved it. So yes, I clearly am not quite ready for the day yet. But we have to go to church here soon. So I'm going to put a little bit on my face. And then we're going to head out to church. And then when I get back, I'm going to dig into Fruits Basket and just kind of spend the day rereading. And I will share my thoughts as I go along because that's what this vlog is going to be, is rereading Fruits Basket and my thoughts on it. So I will comment as I go along. So, upon reread, I've come to the realization that for some reason I always thought Yuki was the one that transformed first in front of her, but it was Kyo. And with it being Kyo, that makes it so much more significant in so many ways. And I'm putting together things on a reread that I didn't pick up the first time around because I know how things are going to go. And AuthorCon is amazing. Like, the connections that I'm making upon reread are really interesting. Like, I'm noticing all sorts of things that I didn't notice the first read through. I mean, obviously I noticed it to an extent, but not in the same way. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this reread so far. I'm only a little past the first chapter because the first chapter is like huge. I don't know how many pages. I'm like 80-ish pages into this volume, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this reread, like, already. The humor in this has always been really fun, and I'm just happy. And my Kyo boy is here. Kyo is always best boy, but I'm a cat person, so that's probably why. Okay, guys, so it's actually about 1:15 right now. So, oh, makeup's rolling everywhere. So I did the Instagram live. It was a lot of fun to chat with you guys for a little bit. And then I had to make a phone call because I got a phone call during the live. Just finished that. It's about 1:15 now. We were on the phone for quite a little bit. And I have read the first 4 chapters of Fruits Basket Omnibus 1, and I am continuing to love it. I'm continuing to see things I didn't see previous to this point. Kyo's still best boy. Oh, I love my Kyo. Oh. But another character, I was asked what my favorite Fruits Baskets character were in the Instagram live, and I would have to say Kyo and Momichi. I think those two are my favorites, but there are so many really good characters in Fruits Basket. You might hear me talking about other favorites as this goes along, just so you know. But at this moment, the two that come to mind first are Momichi and Kyo. Okay, so I just read Kagura's first visit to the house, and oh my gosh, I forgot how funny that first encounter with her is. Oh my gosh, I kept laughing. It just made my heart happy. So, yes, Kyo and Kagura, that whole dynamic is hilarious to me. Toru's reaction to all of it is priceless as well. So, I'm just really enjoying my read through of this. It's just been a good time so far. My pal Momiji has entered the scene, and I love Momiji. Momiji is my cinnamon roll. He's just so sweet and so pure, and I just love me some Momiji. And I forgot how cute his first couple of interactions with Toru are. And, they're just warming my heart today. I needed me a Momiji fix, and I didn't even realize I needed it until I dug in. So, yes, Momiji-kun is still one of my babies, and I still love him. And the story is a bit slower than I remember, but I'm okay with that. The slower pace this time, maybe it's because I'm reading it slower. It's allowing things to soak in and absorb in, and it's good. So far, this reread is fantastic, and I'm a big fan. So, I have officially finished the first omnibus, the collector's edition of Fruits Basket, and I forget how sad Hattori's story is. He's always a character that I've always had conflicted and mixed feelings about. But it's one of those things when I read his backstory again, I'm just like, oh, this poor man. He's been through so much. And yeah, it's just crazy. I really just adore this series. It's so well drawn, it's so well written. It's definitely about people. If you're looking for a plot-driven story, you're not really going to find that in Fruits Basket. But man, it is a character-driven story, and it is so, so good. So I'm going to take a bit of a break, spend some time with the hubs. Then I'm going to jump into Volume 2 later today. I do want to finish Volume 2 today. I forgot to mention when I was talking to before that I feel like all the interactions with Akito now are so different because once you know Akito's backstory, it's a totally different thing. It's super interesting to me, but yeah, it's just crazy. And so knowing what I know now and reading the interactions with Akito that you get throughout that first omnibus it makes them so different now. It's crazy. Alrighty, so Haru has entered the picture. His dual personality is always an interesting thing here for the story. And the Valentine's Day date is about to happen. So I'm noticing more interactions between certain characters. I'm trying to be relatively vague here, so it's not all the spoilers in the world. But I'm noticing how certain characters interact together and who's drawn to who much earlier in the series than I did in my first read through. So I truly know that author Kun always knew who she wanted with who. And it's really interesting because I did not see this on a first read through at all. Like, I was kind of oblivious to most of it. I mean, I knew it was a potential, but I did not see it for what it was. So now that I see it for what it is, I'm like, makes my heart happy. So that's where we're at. Okay, so on the date, there's totally a Pokemon reference I didn't catch the first time I read through this. And I'm like doing everything I can to not like pee myself laughing. I know it's not that funny. It's really not, but I just can't believe I missed that the first read through. It's insane. Okay, as you can see, I've flipped sides here on the bed. But they're preparing to go on the hot springs trip. There's usually a hot springs trip or a beach trip in any shoujo manga. It's just kind of a trip that's always there. But I forgot how intense kind of the lead up to that was. There's so much about this detail-wise that I had forgotten. And it's not for any particular reason. I've just read so much since then that some of the finer details I've forgotten. I always remembered the core story and who ends up together in the end and all that kind of stuff. Like, all of that never left me, and certain aspects of it never left me. But as I'm reading through it and getting all the details again, I'm like, man, I want to remember more of this all the time. So I think this is a series that I need to revisit more often. We've had our first real run-in with Akito now, where you see Yuki's reaction to being around Akito, and Akito introduces themselves to Toru. That whole experience was completely different upon read-through, like a reread, as opposed to my first read-through. All of my feelings are so different. I'm so much more mad at the manipulation that Akito is doing and just their attitude towards everything. It just makes me mad. Like, the manipulation and that stereotype. Oh, it just makes me mad right now. Not in a bad way. Like, the author does a fantastic job with Akito's character. But it's one of those things where I just can't hardly even. And, you know, my baby boy Yuki needs some love afterwards. And of course, Toru will always take care of Yuki and Kyo because that's who she is. So now we've met Aya, and I forgot how like subtly pervy he was compared to other things I've read. I mean, he's pervy, let's be real. He's a pervert, but it's more subtle than some of the stuff I've read recently. And so I just remember kind of being floored the first time I read it. But upon reread, I'm like, oh, he's not that bad. He's just a little pervy, not a lot pervy like I originally felt. Maybe I'm just a bigger pervert now. I don't know. But man, I forgot how much like Aya's shenanigans make me smile. I really do like Aya. He would be like a third favorite character in the series because Aya's influence is really interesting throughout the story. So, alrighty. So I just finished the second omnibus for Fruits Basket. It ends with the picnic involving Toru's mom. Again, speaking in vague things in case you haven't read or watched the original anime. There's so many sweet moments in this series and coming of age moments. I can't help but love it. Hey, so I'm out of the bath and clean faced and whatnot, but I wanted to talk about more of Fruits Basket. So I've read into the third omnibus a little bit now. I am trying. No, that's the wrong wording. I am loving. That's the word I'm looking for. You can tell I'm getting tired. The not only just the family bonds that I'm seeing in the beginning of this omnibus, but just the particular bonds of friendship between Chigure, Aya, and why did his name just leave me? Hattori. I don't know why that wasn't coming to my brain. I'm like, the type of zodiac he is and everything was coming to my brain, but yes, Hattori or Tori. The bond of friendship between those three is extra special, and I really like reading about that. So they're all at the cottage right now. I still love Kyo. Yes, he doesn't know how to express himself, but I still love Kyo. The core of who Kyo is just pure, and I love him. So yes, I'm still loving it, guys. Like, I fully expect to continue to love it, but it's just really interesting upon reread because I feel like I'm seeing a lot more than I saw the first read through, which I think is normal when you reread something, that you pick up on things you didn't pick up on before, partially because you know how the story ends. But yeah, it's just extra special. I really, really like it. My baby Kisa, oh my gosh. She just came on the scene and I forgot how like emotional and emo that made me. I'm so soft. Yeah, I'm trying very hard not to cry right now. With the way Kisa comes into the story, it's just so. Ah! Good morning, friends. So it is officially day 2 of Rereadathon. Now, I have a little bit of time before work, so I had to move my wallet there. I wanted to get back into volume 3 of Fruits Basket before I head to work. So last night I did read a little more after my last check-in, and it was the Prince Yuki fan club moment for the first one. I know there's at least one more in the series, and those are really unnecessary to me in the story. I never felt like they added anything to the story other than they introduce a side character sibling. But other than that, I don't feel like they really add anything to the main storyline, so I've always felt like it was unnecessary, and it always bothered me because those girls are super obnoxious. I cannot handle them. But yes, so I'm excited that we're past that phase and I get to jump back in to the stuff that I love in this story. So the goal is to finish volume Omnibus 3 and Omnibus 4 today. Okay, so the dynamic between Kagura and Kyo has always been weird to me. One, because they're direct relatives. That's just weird. And then secondly, just because of her motivation for her love for him, it's always been weird to me. Like it's always just sat wrong with me. And I really like how the author takes care of that, of course, but yeah, I just no way, dude, no way. I did finally brush my hair. It's just gonna be a ponytail day because girlfriend doesn't care, but anyway, I'll probably put on some makeup here soon. I definitely need my glasses. I left them at work on Saturday, so I'm getting a bit of a headache because I've had my eye strain a little stronger than normal, so. Okay, friends, so quick update. I just finished the third omnibus for Fruits Basket. Now, I've read quite a bit. I probably read the last third since I last talked to you. So one of the most crucial points in the entire story happened in this omnibus. There's a moment with Kyo and his master that is like very pivotal to the core story and the relationships that everyone has with Kyo. And reading that a second time had a completely different impact than the first time. I don't count the times I've watched the anime because the anime did different things than the manga did in that regard. And I almost cried rereading that part because it is so innocent and pure in its own way that I can't help but love it. And how everyone interacts with Kyo changed slightly, but not necessarily in a bad way. And then, you know, you see kind of the fallout of that instance in a couple of different circumstances. And then you get a moment with Yuki and Aya, which is, again, another one of my favorite moments just because it's fun. But it is important for Yuki and Aya's relationship as their siblings and the way that they learn to bridge the gap between each other a little bit better because they're enough years apart that they've always struggled to have a relationship together. And I just really enjoyed reading the instance in the shop again. And I love the little assistant at the shop. I think she's wonderful and knows exactly what to do to help give them some time. And it's just so good. You guys, I still love Fruits Basket. I'm just going to be a Fruits Basket stan forever, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so now we've had another introduction in the Soma family. We've got Hiro. That's come in because of... So he's come around because he was jealous of Toru. And yeah, it's just still so good, guys. It's still so good. I'm totally just like fangirling through this whole vlog, and I'm really sorry, not sorry, but yeah, that's just what's going on. I just love revisiting. Oh my gosh. Love revisiting this story. This was the series that really got me into collecting manga, if I'm honest. So I am just loving reading through this. It's giving me so many feelings, good feelings, but feelings. Yeah, we just got some mom backstory, some of Toru's mom's backstory again. And every time we're talking about her mom, I just get all soft and, yeah. I know this is really like the choppiest vlog ever, and I'm sorry again, but yes, I love this so much. Alrighty, so I have now finished volume 4, Omnibus 4, in the collector's edition of Fruits Basket. So I am now a third of the way through this series. I really love it still. It just makes my heart happy. This volume ended coming up towards the next big point in the story. It's kind of all the build up towards the next part. And it's been a minute since I've watched the anime, so I'm trying to remember if this next big part is kind of where the anime veers off and does its own thing. That's what my gut's telling me. Because I believe everything that's contained in the 4 that I've read so far is in the anime. So it might be part of the way through 5 where the anime veers off on its own. I'm not 100% sure. Because it's been a minute since I've had to think about it. I might have to go watch my previous review of Fruits Basket, the manga versus the anime. But yes, Fruits Basket is wonderful. Being back with these characters just makes me happy. Makes me very happy. I really love this story a lot. And there was another Prince Yuki fan club moment, of course, and blah. Prince Yuki fan club. They can just go away for all I care. But, we continue to meet members of the Zodiac. We met 3 in this volume. And they all of their interactions with Toru are always amazing. That's part of what makes this series so special, is when these members of the Zodiac come and meet Toru, or she goes to meet them, and the reactions that they have to her and her reactions to them is always what makes this story so good. Plus, all her interactions with the ones that we continue to see. And it's one of those things that I just am happy. I'm happy when I read Fruits Basket. Like, there's no other way to put it. Random clip here. It is related to Fruits Basket, but I have to get on here and say, I love my buddy Bizarre. He is just a gem. It's so funny. Anyways, so I have been slowly posting, a few non-spoilery panels of Fruits Basket on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, so that people know I'm reading and I'm actively, participating in the readathon. And all of a sudden I got these messages from Bizarre. I'll insert a snap, a screenshot here of him saying, "Back off, Shay, he's mine." And flames, and he's like, "I'm so in love with him," and it just made my day. Bizarre, you have to know you made my day today. I needed that. And yes, so I just have some of the best friends in the manga community, I have to say. The manga people that I've gotten to know through the MangaTube side of my BookTube channel, they're just amazing human beings. I just love them. They're good people. They're hilarious. We are all big, fat, giant nerds, and I just love each and every one of them. Good morning. So it is day 3 of Rereadathon, and I am now halfway through the 5th omnibus for Fruits Basket. And what's going on right now is, a lot's been going on. But the biggest thing is Rin is officially on the scene, and we've heard Kyo's biological dad's intentions with him. So between the two things, I forgot how malicious Kyo's dad is, which is why I like his sensei much better. And then I forgot how obnoxious Rin is when she first comes into the story. Already she's rubbing me the wrong way. And I know that over time she doesn't bother me nearly as much from everything I'm remembering of the story. But man, I forgot how much she rubs me the wrong way when she first comes onto the scene. We're about ready to have our beach adventure, so that's what's currently going on in the story. My feelings for Fruits Basket haven't changed. I know this vlog is kind of just me fangirling, but it really just makes my heart happy. It's hard for me to deny that, because it just does. Hello! So, I am headed to the bookstore for my normal Tuesday bookstore run to pick up the couple of things that I'm excited about. And I'll grab some lunch while I'm out. But I wanted to briefly talk to you because I've read a decent chunk since we last chatted. So I finished Omnibus 5. And I'm about halfway through Omnibus 6 now. So what's going on is I forgot how hard I just want to slap Akito into next week at this point in the story. Seriously, all of the Soma Zodiacs have been introduced to Toru now, and I forgot how hard I want to slap Akito at this point in the story. I'm feeling all of those same feelings upon reread. It's ooh, and I think it's even worse now because I know Akito's true nature. On a second reread, Akito's even worse than the first time, because now you understand more about Akito and why Akito acts the way Akito does. and they are just, and I've always struggled with that part of the story. I'm trying to not go into super deep spoilers here, but Akito's true nature has always been something that surprised me, especially on my first read through. I was like, whoa, nope, no way, what happened, what's going on here? I was so confused. But upon reread, it's much more noticeable in certain ways. Like the way Akito dresses and the way Akito behaves, the jealousy Akito feels, all of it makes so much more sense when you know Akito's true nature, but it just makes them all the more horrible. And I struggle so hard with that. So hard. Hey friends, so it is day 4? Yes, day 4 of Rereadathon. I just finished volume 8 of Fruits Basket, and I ended up having a lot of time to read today because the weather in Utah sucks right now, and all of my clients switched days. So, yes, everything got rearranged, and I don't normally take appointments tomorrow, but I'm taking appointments tomorrow, and all sorts of things. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there, but I'm still loving Fruits Baskets. So much has gone down in the story since we last talked. Yuki's relationship with his parents, Toru's parents' story, more crap with Akito, like... Akito, knowing Akito's true nature makes this story so much harder to read when you hit the points with Akito. Things that Akito says really, rub me the wrong way now that I know Akito's true nature. I keep saying that, but it's so true. Upon reread, Akito is so much worse than the first time you read it, if you can believe that or not. And holy crap. All I can say is holy crap. Hey friends, so it is day 5 of Rereadathon. I just finished the 9th omnibus of Fruits Basket, and Akito's true nature comes out in this omnibus, and so it's always a lot for me to decompress when I read it. And so much goes down all around that same time, it's just craziness. And so it didn't have the same powerful impact upon a reread, but it's affected how I look at the whole story from the word go on reread. So we're slowly working towards the end here. I really enjoy the story still. I still love the characters. This is such a character-driven story. If you do not like character-driven stories, you are not going to like this. I mean, there is a decent plot throughout the story, but it's more slice-of-life character-driven than anything. So if that's not your kind of story, definitely give Fruits Basket a pass. But I still love it. It is still such good writing. If only American, Western literature and Western culture would take the time to delve as deep in their books, in their stories. Because there's so much that's going on here. There's so much manipulation on Akito's part. There's abuse. There is so much that goes on. This is a rough and gritty story. And if you like rough and gritty with a little bit of a paranormal aspect to it, this is so your jam. But yes, Fruits Basket is amazing. I still love it. Like, my opinion has not changed. I was afraid it would, like, because it's been years since I've read it all the way through. And it hasn't changed at all. If anything, it's strengthened. Like, the more I revisit manga, because I've revisited two big series that I've loved for a long time recently, and I love them even more now. Like, I just continue to love the things that I loved. Like, my opinions on them haven't changed. And sometimes with books, upon reread, my opinion changes. And so I was worried about that happening with manga, but there's something about this graphic format that manga comes in and the depth of the stories that I'm reading that it's just changed everything for me. And I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So I'm going to dig into Omnibus 10 now, and I'll chat with you soon. Omnibus 10 is done, the end is coming, and Kyo just dropped a huge bomb at the end of this omnibus. And it's one that he's been holding on to for a long time. And I don't remember loving how this part played out, but I know that by the end of the story, I'm fully invested in everything, so. Hi, hello. It's day 6 of Rereadathon, and I just finished the 11th omnibus of Fruits Basket, and the big moment and climax of the series just happened. And so much just happened, and so much just went down, and I'm still so emo and soft about it, and I don't even care. I knew I would do this, that's why I haven't done my makeup yet today. I've got an appointment that's going to be coming here shortly, so I got to stop crying. But this moment, you don't ever get in the anime. So I'm really glad they're rebooting it, because this moment with these characters is so precious to my heart. It is everything to me, and that's why I always felt unsatisfied with the previous anime. So to now get this beautiful story in its entirety, I'm so excited. For those of you who haven't read it but have only watched the old anime, to get the full story. Highly recommend reading it though, because man, like, seriously, I did forget some of these finer details, and it just I still I still cry. It still affects me so deeply. So yes, anyways, I'm gonna move on to the final omnibus and get my full closure, and then I will do a final wrap up with you guys. Hey guys, so this is the end of my Rereadathon vlog. Technically there's still like a day and a half left, but I have read my complete TBR, and I do have other things that I need to move on to and finish. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this vlog here and let you guys know my full thoughts now that I've reread Fruits Basket in its entirety. So as I've been saying throughout this vlog, a lot of the fine details I'd kind of forgotten because it had been so long, but my overall experience has been so positive. Revisiting this series just confirmed to me that it is such a favorite, and that I can recommend this wholeheartedly, even though I've read so much more manga now as opposed to when I first read it. My opinion hasn't changed. Forever, Fruits Basket will be a favorite to me. It will always have a special place in my heart. I will always love these characters. The ending to this series is so beyond perfect that nothing could ever change that. I absolutely adore Fruits Basket. I think the romantic relationships that you see by the end of the series all make sense. Though I don't fully agree with all of them, they all make sense as to how they became a couple, how they got there, all those kinds of things. Like, all of that makes complete sense to me. And I thoroughly love the way this mangaka took care of these characters. And there's enough closure in all of them that it makes sense. And I loved all of it. There are so many things that happen. And like I say, I think the biggest surprise to me was how differently I felt about Akito throughout the series. I was so annoyed at certain points, but at the same time, once I get to the point where Akito's true nature is revealed again, my feelings softened a little bit. And I know that Akito was just a broken person who had a bad upbringing and was given whatever they wanted for a very, very, very long time. And so because of that, how Akito interacted with the world around her was kind of toxic and awful. And I'm not apologizing for their behavior. I don't think what they did was right. I'm never going to say that. But it's one of those things that I definitely understand even better upon a second read how that person got there. So, all in all, if you haven't read Fruits Basket, I highly recommend it. If you have, revisit it again. The new anime where it's going to tell the complete story, I believe, starts in April. So look forward to that. Give it a watch. I think it's going to be wonderful. The new animation style looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm so excited. So yes, that's where I'm at with things. Thanks again for watching this vlog. I know it's seriously long at this point, but I really appreciate all of you guys, all of my subscribers. I've hit 900 recently. I hit 900 this week. I feel so blessed and so grateful for each and every one of my subscribers and anybody who checks out my channel. I've always felt honored by all of it. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.